Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Entrepreneur Spirit Plus Club. Oh, sorry, the Empowerment Talk Show. I am your host, Camille Onish Ismail, and with me tonight.
Hi, guys. Can you hear me clearly? I'm kind of sounding muffled.
You sound good.
We can hear you. You are live.
Okay. Hi, guys. I'm Latoya. Welcome back.
And good evening. I'm Mian. Good to be here.
All right. So tonight we're going to be continuing our conversation on relationship and how we as women, what our role is. And then we're going to get the guys on here to talk about their roles. Last week we had Dr. Karen Dunkley out of Philadelphia, and she shared some powerful tools with us, compartmentalizing, relationships and how to handle them in business, in families. And so we look forward to having her back. Welcome back, Latoya. Thank you, girls, for joining me tonight. If you are watching, if you're listening, please share, like, and subscribe to our YouTube channel on Empowerment Talk Show every Monday night. All right, ladies. So, how does a woman thrive in a relationship, being whether she's married or not married? How does she thrive?
Maybe having herself, because I don't want to say a lot, but some women do suffer with that whole self-esteem issue. So having some confidence within thyself, like, definitely could bring a positive attribute to a relationship.
Yeah, I agree. I think also knowing who you are as a person, and know what you're able to bring to the table as far as your strengths and your weaknesses, that will help you to, kind of function in your relationship. Because then you can, let your partner know, instead of playing a guessing game, have him guess whether or not we're, in a good mood today, but just to let it be known, I don't like this, I don't like that. I would prefer to do this instead of doing that. My thing is not just saying I don't like something, but come up with a solution that kind of like help.
So, like, being able to have like an open communication.
Definitely open communication.
I agree.
Latoya, I don't know if you can hear us, but we have lost you there for a moment.
Oh, I was hearing you guys and Mimi. Well, I was hearing Mimi and you and myself. Can you hear me, Camille?
I can hear you.
Okay.
I don't know. Camille, can you hear?
Camille, can you hear? Pam?
You have to love technology. I mean, it's the truth. You definitely do.
We lost you.
Some minor.
I'm texting her.
Okay, minor technical difficulties, but it's okay.
That's okay. We can keep it going in the meantime until Camille comes on.
Yeah.
But I realized, me, like in relationships, that it's kind of like a give and take. So you as a person, or I can even say kind of what I struggled with getting married. It was being so independent.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing how to take care of myself, taking care of myself, all this time.
Right.
Oh, I think we're recording again. 1 second. Pam, are you there?
Yeah, I lost you guys for a moment.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Mimi and I were still talking, just I'm not sure if it was still recording or not. But I was telling Mimi, like, even for me as like being recently married, it's my biggest challenge that I've seen so far is that level of independence that I have, and now sharing a space with this whole different being. And it's finding the balance in, okay, knowing when to, okay, let some things go, and knowing when to hold on to other things, just understanding that it's not the Latoya show. You know, there's more than one person in the marriage. And I think that is something that as women, especially, that's what I've seen. And I've seen it with my friends too, especially when you've been on your own doing it and you're doing it good for yourself. So it's kind of difficult when someone else comes in and kind of change the dynamic of that. You guys have to establish a balance in that relationship in order to let it work, if you really do want it to work.
Right. That makes a lot of sense.
Establishing balance comes with respect.
Yeah, totally.
A lot of times, like we learned last night, right, Mimi?
Yeah.
That if you don't have respect for yourself, then you won't respect your partner. And sometimes we women, we create our own balance, and we expect a man to just fall into that balance. And they don't fall into the balance, because they're like, okay, let's meet halfway. And then when we meet halfway, the balance will work. But we women, and like I said, and I'll keep saying it for the rest of the month, this time around, we're working on ourselves and not pointing fingers to say, he did it, he did it, he did it. It's our selfishness. Because as women, we tend to be a little selfish. We want things to go our way, opposed to asking your partner, hey, what do you think? That is so important in a relationship. What do you think? But we don't do that. So we find it very hard to share, to cohabit. Because me personally, I'm saying to myself, how am I going to share my bed? I need a king size bed now. Yeah, the reality of it kicked in. I was like, I need a king size bed now, because now I got to share my room. I got to share my closet space. Like,
listen, I was about to get to that. I had to share my closet space, and that was kind of like the biggest thing. So we had to take everything out and reconfigure in order to find a balance. You know, it's finding that balance. We had to. We did.
See, I just feel like whenever it's my turn to, walk down the aisle and I have my special man next to me, we're just gonna have to have two separate closets. Because I am going to need my own closet, and he's going to have his own. I have a lot of clothes.
Yes. Yes, Mimi, say it.
Big enough, God's willing, to have multiple closets in there.
I mean, that is what I desire, but for now we're gonna reconfigure and work with what we have. And it's working so far, so good.
I'm ready for that.
Because you see, at the end of the day, we have to learn. It's like we have to start looking at our partners as our friends, brother or sister. When we were growing up living with our brother or sister, didn't we cohabit? Yeah. When I was growing up, I had my own room. My brother had his own room. Then when my third brother came along, I was like, oh no. When Timar came along, I said to my dad, I said, Dad, my room, my space, because I'm the only girl. And so everything he comes, sis. And I'm just like, So I had to learn to have him in my bed. I had to learn to, share my space with him, because he'll come and he'll just jump on my bed while I'm studying. He's a baby. He didn't know any better at the time, and so for me, I started to look at life that way. I say, if I can live with my brothers, I can, live with a man. And then Muhammad was not that kind of guy. I'll be upstairs and he'll be downstairs. When it's time for bed, he get into bed. But you have some men who just like the fact that they get into bed and they just want to be like this. You know, they want to be like that.
Yes.
How do you cope with a man that is clingy?
I don't go clingy, man. I cannot do it. I would never do it. I'm married now, so I'm out of that loop, but I don't work with clinginess. I cannot do it. I've dated, and the moment I saw clingy, I stopped because I know I couldn't do it. It's not for me. I cannot do clingy. I need, when you're ready to have your space, you have your space. And when I'm ready to have my space, I have my space. I need girls' time vacation away from you, and you're not behind me. I need that time. And you can take your guy time vacation, and I'm not behind you. Like, I don't do clingy. I can't.
You can't do clingy. It's the same thing. Like, as soon as I see that little inkling that you want to be stuck on me, no, come on. I need to breathe.
What's that song? Stuck on you?
No.
I don't feel in the underneath of my soul and I just can't wait.
You know,
Yeah, that's because you have men, like for me, I don't like that. And if I find that you're that way, that's probably why I'm alone now. Because when I say alone, meaning not married, because I don't like a man who's always in my face. Stay out of my face.
yeah.
Don't call my phone 24/7. Don't ask me what time I'll be back. I will tell you, I'll volunteer the information. When I give it to you, please. After that, just let me be. It's not that I want to be controlling. I just need my space to breathe, to hear my
Yes.
thoughts, to think, to write in my journal, to have a little alone time. And I believe that in a relationship, each person should have that space.
Of course. You need
I
that time
think
for yourself.
I
That
think
mental
so.
time for yourself, that emotional time for yourself, that physical time for yourself. You need that time. You don't want to get
But,
lost.
but how do you relate this to your partner?
Just a man, you ease off on man.
I think that's a conversation that you obviously are supposed to have with your partner, with your significant other. Have that conversation, like, babe, listen, Friday night, girls' night. I'm going out with my girls. How about you go and hang out with your boys? Oh, you don't want to hang out with them? Okay, well, I'll see you around midnight, but I'm going to go out and I'm going to have fun. And then when I come home, it'll be boo time. I had my moment to be with my girls and to, decompress and get back to myself, Then I have boo time when I get home.
Yeah, but some men don't understand that.
It takes conversation. It takes conversation because, like, I can talk from my perspective, because you guys know I'm jetting somewhere at some point in time. I'm going, right? 2 days, 3 days, I'm out. And it's one of the things that I highlighted. I said, I like to travel, and I tend to, sometimes I travel alone, sometimes I travel with friends. Now, are you going to have a problem with that? And so we were able to have a discussion around that ahead of time. And then I'll say, my friends and I will take like 2 vacations in the summer and we'll go somewhere. Now, would you have a problem with that? So you have to open that conversation no matter how hard it is.
Mm-hmm.
Some people don't. Some people say, I don't trust you as far as I trust you as far as I can see you. But you have to have that level of understanding with your partner to trust you. Because if you don't have trust, like, why the sense of anything, like having a relationship if there's no trust?
It's Valentine's month. It's the month of love. It's the month of relationship. It's the month of people hooking up, having what they call it in the group, Mimi? Casual sex. Ooh, that's why I learned something, child. Let me tell you. And so it's that time of the year. And everyone always talk about love. But what about the conversation that men and women struggle with abandonment issues and they bring it into their relationships?
See that's a deep topic.
That's a whole topic by itself. But you can't push off what you've been through on me. Like I would go off. The moment I realize that's the situation, I am gonna go off. It's for me, it's no longer a conversation. I'm just going off. Like I don't feel like people should bring their baggage. Yes, you can come with your guards, but you can't lay that bag on the person that you're with without even allowing them or giving them a chance. Or they might do something where it probably triggered, something that happened in the past, but the person didn't have an intention. And that's why I say it's not just, I always say it's not about it's not just about communication, it's about understanding what the person is saying and be able to receive it. Because if you're not able to receive it, then it doesn't make any sense. Yeah, we have to have a conversation around that. I don't feel like anybody should bring their baggage anywhere, whether it's be to like a partner that you have or to your kids or to your job. Like I will tell people, give me my worst enemy in a business setting and I'll do the best job with them because you're not going to mess up my money and my time. Like I can work with anybody who is my enemy. Once the job is done, don't talk to me. Don't look at me. We're not cool. Keep it moving, but I will do my job.
But you see, in a business setting, sometimes we also, you're right, we bring our abandonment issues into business. We bring our issues from our family, our home into our jobs, and then it affects the next person. But if we develop the mindset where we're here to work, collect our paycheck, and go home, and not be so friendly, I think a lot of us will prevent that hurt, prevent that anguish, that anger, that pain. You understand what I'm saying? Because it's not just relationship with a man, it's relationship in business as well. Because I've experienced that where people literally just get mad for no reason at all. And then when you really get down to it and you ask the question, what's up? Oh, and it's what is So the dynamics of it is that in a relationship, one must learn to wear your guards for protection, fine, but don't spill your tea on my saucer.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're drinking your tea and it's hot doesn't mean you spit it out on somebody else.
That's true. Great.
But a lot of us, we do spit our tea on people or our coffee, whatever kind of gurgitation you got going on.
I mean, to be honest, sometimes and to be fair, is sometimes we're humans and we snap. Because I'm not gonna ever say I've never had a snappy moment. But then when I realize it's like, oh, I did something I should have done, I really try to go back if I can to apologize, or I beat myself up for the rest of the time. But for most part, like I don't bring, especially when going to work, bring my baggage to work because I'm not going in there to affect anyone's day. I would to myself anyone's day. If I'm moody, like I put it in my earpiece, and once they hear me start singing, leave her alone. Just let her sing and hum all day, and she'll be good by midday or something, whatever it is. But you do have people that do, and you see it, and I see that that's most of the time in the workplace. You'll see that with people who are overexerting their power. They're trying to prove themselves and trying to make themselves this big bad boss. I'll huff and puff and blow your house down if you don't do the work that I want you to do. And people try to flex, but I see people try to flex when they can't get their way with you. When you have to address them and say, hey, this is not the one. You don't speak to me like that. I will not accept it. They'll try to sabotage in other different ways. But that's, again, is a whole different topic.
No, it's the same conversation, because what you do in relationship on a whole is important. Relationship in marriage, relationship in business, relationship in terms of friendship. We don't understand our boundaries in relationships.
And not just like a lot of us, we don't have that realization of how we were born, not how we were born, but how we were raised. Our childhood has a lot to do with how we have been shaped into who we are as adults. So it can show up in the workplace. The attitude can show up in the relationship between you and your partner. The abandonment issues can show up into work to work, entrepreneur to entrepreneur type of relationship. So a lot of it does stem from our childhood and a lot of issues that we obviously didn't heal from. And a lot of issues that we don't even know that we have, because that's the thing. Once again, self-realization. A lot of us do not realize that we keep bringing the same baggage from relationship to relationship to relationship, not realizing that we are the common denominator in every single aspect, every single relationship that we come encounter with.
You know, one of the things I've heard, Mimi, and I'm glad you said that, is you have like females will say, why do I keep end up with these same type of guys? You're choosing them. That is your choice. That you're seeing something in each of those persons that you're going off, that you're seeing the warning sign and it's knocking you in the forehead, but you're not doing anything about it. Like you're like, okay, let me wait and see. Just maybe let's go 2 more months. Maybe next month they'll change. Or we try to think that we can change them. Some of us take on too much project. That's the problem. Take on too much project. We need to cut it out.
Exactly.
You know, so my question is this to the audience, for those that are watching, please put your comments below. I will be able to see your comments, so share them below. The question from audience, from a viewer said, should those boundaries be established at the beginning when time has lapsed in the relationship?
At the beginning. No, at the beginning. Like, it has to be at the beginning. It's something that I learned, right? I've been learning a lot. It's like things that you know you cannot keep up with, do not start it. If it bothers you the first day, say it bothers you on the first day, because once you start it, the person is gonna say, okay, she never said anything before, so all right, I'm gonna try it
But
again.
sometimes they deem that as you being miserable though. Did you know that?
Well, be miserable all you can, but I'll tell y'all offline when I'm talking about what there are things that I had to put my foot down and say, I am not this type of person. Do not expect this of me. And then I try to find a compromise to that. But you have to set your boundaries early, because especially with my husband, don't start anything you know you're not going to finish 10 years later or continue doing 10 years later. Do not. So I've learned that anything that I'm uncomfortable with, I'm not going to start it, because I know the next time you ask, I'm going to be uncomfortable. And then you're going to hold it until there is a big blow. And then you're going to hear, why didn't you say something in the first?
Yeah, but Mimi, do you think that in a relationship, whether it be business or whatever, that if you share your opinion on the first arrival, that someone would really appreciate and accept that?
I can only speak from my point of view and the way how I do come off to certain people. No, they would not accept it. And so then I personally tend to give chances. Like I'll still have that boundary, but I'll give chances. And I mean, that's kind of my fault too, but I'll give chances, and sometimes a little bit too many chances. So it gets to the point where I'm like, okay, enough. And then they're like, but wait, you allowed me to do X, Y, and Z before. And it's just like, well, I was trying to be nice, but now you're going to get the real me right now. And I said no. But once again, that's just my personal experience, because I know I can come off as being very who I am. Just like that.
But you see, the boundaries we set up in our lives are sometimes protection, because we have been hurt before.
Yeah.
And because we don't trust easily. And because this guy did this to me and that guy did this to me. So then we hold on to that and we're not delivered from those things.
Yep.
So that's why I'm saying that in every era of our lives, we should go through that detoxing before we get into a relationship.
True.
It doesn't have to be a detoxing where you wait 5 years or 10 years,
Right.
It can be a detoxing where you work on yourself, personal development, and build yourself and know that, okay, this is what I want in a relationship, and I'm going to attract that, and this is what's on my table. And then when you meet the right person, share that with them, and then embrace what they want as well, and find a medium in the middle. But society today, we don't do that anymore. We don't do that anymore. What we do is, we're going on a date today. I'll get cute. You bring me out, spend your money, and we get laid and we keep moving.
Casual dating.
And then we get upset when the guy says, I'm not ready to be married. I didn't tell you nothing about marriage. But did you say it up front that this is where my head is?
Right.
There's a way to say something to someone.
I think you need to make your intentions clear in any relationship that you're going into, be in business, or dating, whatever the relationship is going to be. Like, once you're about to start something with someone, be very clear about what your expectations are, because you can't go in a relationship with, say, for example, a man that is looking to have fun and feel like you're going to get married or kids at the end of the day. Don't do that.
But that is some of the man them lie though.
I know, but this is where we as women, I tell you, some of us take on too much projects, because yes, some of them are exceptional liars, but then at some point in time they mess up. Mm-hmm. And you need to start questioning it. Not say you're gonna go off on a limb and say, oh no, that's it. You need to start be vigilant. Like, if he says he wants a relationship, if he says he's ready to settle down, then you shouldn't have to ring him 3 and 4 and 5 times. Like, you're going to bed, you guys should be able to have a conversation if it's okay, and being that he's not at work or not with something. But if you guys, you should be able to go on dates. You shouldn't go missing for a week or 2. You're not talking to that person 2 or 3 days, and then this person magically comes back. Oh, I've been busy doing what? What you're busy doing, sir?
You're so nice.
You get what I'm saying. Like, you're going, or he's going to an event that there's a possibility that he should be taking his partner if you guys are at that stage. And him decides that him want to go alone. Why you want to go alone? Why can't I come? Not to say I'm going to be invasive of your privacy, because remember, we go back to giving each other space.
Right.
But you have to look at certain things. I feel like some things make sense and some things don't make sense. Don't show up 2 days later and say, oh, I've been busy. Busy doing what? You cannot never be too busy in 72 hours, where you can't make a phone call. You can't say, hey, babe, I'm thinking about you. I'm so sorry for us not having a conversation, but this is what's going on real quickly. And I'm sorry, I got to get off the phone, but I just wanted to reach out and say, whatever. It's simple. Or even send text message, because sometimes we can't be on the phone talking, especially if you're at work all day. And if you have the type of job that you have where you cannot be on your cell phone, when you go to the bathroom, you take your phone with you. A quick text, a quick call. Most people in America get a 15 minutes break.
But your energy, your energy, what is the saying? Energy goes where something flows.
Yeah.
And so if you are in a relationship, a partnership, whatever kind of ship, and however you're going to sail the ocean, honey, mm-hmm. There should be some level of communication. And then the next thing is, not everybody likes text messages. You have men who don't like to text. You have women who don't like to text. You have men who just rather pick up the phone and call. But nowadays, most men have lost the power of romance. They're not romantic.
Nope.
And so women are finding it difficult to communicate in that area. Because I was listening to Hillary's show online, and that's the topic that they were having. And the men were commenting and saying they lost their romance because the women are not saying what they want.
No, because we've become a place of competition, if you get what I'm saying. Like, we ladies are now competing instead of having the men fight for us, instead of having the men respect us. We're quick to attack the other woman instead of attacking the person, or not that to attack, not to say fight, but instead of having a conversation with the person, because you'll see, oh, she take my man and she knows me and him there, but then okay, did he invite her in? When she, if it was her that approached him, did he say, no, I have a wife, I have a girl, I respect her, I love her, I would never do that to her? You understand? And then again, you have men that are very good liars that have multiple relationships going on.
You never know.
Yeah, I was watching this thing about Tinder last night. I think the guy's name was Simon Levy, where his thing was he was scamming women. So he'll meet them, and for the first month, he'll wine and dine them and take them all over the world, flying from here to there. And then by the end of the first month, oh, I'm in, because he said he was the son of a diamond collector or something like that. And so he'll tell them ahead of time, I have to have my bodyguards, I have to have my security guards. So then he'll send them a picture like after a month and say, oh, I've been compromised. This is what happened to my security guard. But everything was just staged, for them to see. Everything was staged. And he used that picture for every woman that he's ever talking to. This one woman, he started he asked her to use her credit card because they were tracking him. Some of them are very good liars. And so he was using her credit card to do all this splurging on another woman that he already did to another woman. And by the end of it, when she found out, she had racked up $250,000 in debt.
Wow.
But there are women out there that's like that also.
Oh yeah.
You have women out there who literally get up every single day and they make it a point of duty to toy around with somebody's son.
Or somebody's great. I'm being honest, sugar babies.
Oh yeah.
It's happening around us. And so I think that these real conversations like what we're having tonight should be held often among women, where we can look into ourselves to see, okay, was it the relationship that we were in first that has caused us to become this way? Or is it the fact that we are here now and we just don't care anymore? We have lost the strength to love again. We have we have become void and empty because we've been hurt so much. What is it that's causing us to be this way?
What I've seen is one of the issue is that the abandonment issue. A lot of women go into relationship looking for that daddy figure. It is real. It is so real.
But then you have women like me and you and Mimi who grew up with our dad, who men are they're timid of us.
100%.
You understand what I'm saying? So it's vice versa.
And that's the thing, like I've seen where she can be so independent, so good on her own, and then a man comes in and he's allowed to disrupt everything just because of daddy issues. So that's some trauma that when you realize that, you have to like either go to counseling or you deal with it within yourself and understand, okay, this is what I've been choosing in other men or in other women. If you have mommy abandonment, it's just because you do have men who treat women bad because their mother treated them bad. And they don't know no better. They don't know how to talk to a woman, how to court her, how to give her that respect that she deserves. They don't know because they were never taught. So those are things that we kind of need to identify within ourselves or even if you have a friend or anything, identify. And if you guys are close enough, you should be able to open conversations, have that conversation with them.
Ladies and gentlemen, for those who are just tuning in, welcome to the Empowerment Talk Show. Follow us on YouTube Live, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Empowerment Talk Show on YouTube. Tonight, we're discussing relationships. So all month of February, we're going to be talking about that. You can visit us at www.epbreakfastclub.com to learn more about what is it that we do. But tonight, I really, really like this conversation. Since last night, rather, I will say that I like this conversation because what I'm realizing is that not only is it affecting women on a whole, it is affecting men too. And the men are not saying what's going on. The men are not talking. So my goal personally is to have some of the men come on and share their point of view as to what they think should go on in a relationship and where they have been, because men too have been hurt. Men too have been abandoned. Men too have been abused by women. It's not just us. We have been so marginalized when it comes to women that we start saying, okay, it's always the man, it's always the man, it's always the man. But what are you doing as a female? How are you speaking to him? How is your tone? How is your embrace when he's hurting? Do you even know that he's hurting? Do you even know that he's going through something? Or are you asking, what's wrong? Talk to me. Sometimes you don't have to ask what's wrong. Samson and Delilah was together. Delilah didn't ask him what was wrong. She didn't ask him. She said to him, my love, how can I assist you? Words make a difference in a relationship.
It does.
And when you say the right word at the right time, that man will definitely calm himself down and just right away hand over the strength to you. But we women, we don't understand the power that we hold. And because of that, we end up into these broken relationships with the same patterns that we had since we had our first boyfriend.
Yes, we do. And once again, carry that baggage over from relationship to relationship. Why? Because we did not take the time to heal, and we do not even realize it. And it's not even just from our first boyfriends. It could be from our parents. And you can't even blame your parents because it's something that's generational. It could be your parents' parents, which means your parents. So it's also like that generational curse that needs to be broken as well.
And that's the thing, like I see where, like, the type of embrace that I embraced my son, I didn't get all that embrace. Like, I don't know if you guys saw, just before he was going to bed, he came over to kiss me and say goodnight. Like, I never did that with my parents. So you have to teach your kids better. And then I've realized it's hard sometimes for your parents to express certain feelings because they were never taught how to.
But how long are we going to continue to blame our parents for the things that we know is right to do?
But no. Realize it at first. It's like, as soon as you realize it, that's when you start to break the cycle.
Yeah.
Realize it, that cycle is not going to be broken.
But like, we have been talking, women around the world have been speaking on these topics for a long time. And we realize and we recognize, but we won't accept and we won't admit that the abandonment issues that we faced, then we need to get rid of them, let them go, and embrace the new us.
It's easier.
A lot of women are into personal development now. It's a big thing. It's a $1 billion industry. Billions of dollars.
They have to want to do it for themselves. We just saying it. It's like you have to know that, you know what, I'm going down a destructive path with my behavior. I need help. I need counseling. You have to tell yourself that, because if you tell yourself, no, I'm good, I'm okay, Nothing is wrong with me. Everything is wrong with everybody else around me. They're the ones that is being terrible to me. No, you can't go to everybody and have the same issue with everybody. It's impossible.
Mm-hmm.
It's impossible.
And then
for you.
sometimes the friends that we have are just as bad. Because how can you and I, Latoya, be friends and you don't tell me that my eye is blue? You're not a friend.
True.
You're not a friend. Because you see me keep on choosing the same kind of men and you're not telling me, look, you know what you're doing is wrong.
Yeah,
What
you should
kind
be
of
telling
friend
your
are you?
friend. Yeah, you should be able to tell your friend that, listen, you're going on a destructive path. And when I not like, for example, this is what I always say. I'm not gonna ever tell a friend to leave a man or a woman, but I'm gonna tell you how I feel about that person.
Yes.
And I will tell you from the outside looking in that this is how it looks.
Yeah.
And I don't like it. And sooner or later, if I am seeing it, someone else is gonna see it, because we're travel, and I don't know, living in Hartford, it's like this, if you guys know what I mean, nothing happened without the world knowing, as far as the world is Hartford knowing. So it's so you have to
extra read all about it.
exactly. You have to be able to tell your friend that something is wrong and you're going on a destructive path, and I think you should seek help.
And now it's up to your friend to be receptive of that.
Exactly.
Sometimes you will have friends who are not receptive to the information that it is that you're giving them. And then what happens, they put up that entire block. Now they're like, you know what? You're an X, Y, and Z, blah, 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 because now you're a hater. You're hating on me and my relationship. You jealous because what? You don't got a man, at least I got one.
To be honest, you have to no. You have to know your friend though. I agree with you. I agree with you, Mimi. You have to know your friend, because you have some friends you can't tell them squat about their man.
Absolutely.
You cannot tell them absolutely nothing. So you pick and choose your battles wisely. Yes, you want to be a good friend, but you pick and choose that battle wisely when it comes on to certain people, because some people are very exceptionally protective, and nothing that he does is going to be ever wrong. And when they take out one of them eye, it's never wrong.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to the Empowerment Talk Show, where we get together and talk real life stories, communicating around the world. For those who are watching in St. Kitts and Nevis, thank you all so much. For those in Trinidad, so women must realize, first of all, know what you want. Communicate it effectively to the man. Allow him to do the same. When you get into business, do the same thing. Communication is key, but also discernment is very, 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 very needed. It's needed. And if you are not using discernment, you're going to be in trouble. Because we know, especially us Afro-American women, we know that what we do is we pretend like everything's okay at home, and we know doggone well it's not peaches and cream. We know that it's sour sop. Hello? Sour sop.
Preach.
It tastes insipid. You get what I'm saying? Like what were we drinking? We were doing a blood detox, or I was drinking the hibiscus tea. It's the worst thing I could ever drink.
See, I love hibiscus.
But was it good for me? Yes. But the reality of it is that sometimes in a relationship, when our partner speaks to us, we don't like it. We say to ourselves, who him think him come talk to me? You can't have a relationship like that. Look at him, want to tell me what to do. Who you talk to me?
It's that defense.
I pay my bills. I did there by myself. My days, my own car, can pay my own car payment. You understand? So I go on you. Like,
and that's the thing. Listen, that's the whole thing too. I've never been in a like, I've never seen a more society being so acceptable of cheating. It's It's kind of crazy.
Yes, the cheating culture.
It has gone,
No,
and
for
it goes
me,
back
it's
to
not the
it goes
cheating
back to
alone.
casual sex.
For me, is the blatancy, the effrontery, to boldly say as a woman, this is how I live. This is what I do. I have casual sex. I'm 56 years old.
Listen, ever since women started to own their, I'm going to put it in quotation marks, own their sexual powers, like, no, and it's the truth. Like, who was it? Amber Rose, when she came out with her slut walk.
Yes.
Yes.
That's when a lot of women were like, you know what? I'm liberated too. I'm going to join this movement. I am going to say I own the power of my, you know what I'm saying? And I am going to do to men what they have been doing to us for all these years. Screw them.
But how can you do to a man what they've been doing to us? You can't win.
Of course not.
You can't win.
Because women are receivers. Of course not.
Exactly. They're the givers and you're the receiver. According to my grandmother, she always says, I'm the head that turns your grandfather, I'm the neck that turns your grandfather's head. Without me, he can't move around. I'm like, Grandma. It's true. I run this.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
You understand me? She said, he's the head, he's in control, but I'm the neck. So without me, he can't go left or right. He functions according to what I say. You understand? So when you really, really think about it and look into it, we women, we have become too masculine.
Mm-hmm.
We have become too masculine. We have lost our identity. We want to pay all the bills. We want to pay all the bills. We want to clean the house. We want to do everything. Mimi go fire because me.
I'm just no. Because Latoya was asking, like, is that a bad thing? To a certain point, yes.
Yes.
When do you harness and when do you hold on to your femininity? You have to be soft at some point in time, especially when it comes towards being in a relationship with a man. He's the man. Let him have all that testosterone. Let him have all that stuff flowing. You are a lady. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes, we have to obviously have our own, we have to have our level of testosterone, but we cannot allow it to overpower our estrogen. We cannot allow it to overpower our femininity as women. We are women. There's a part of us that has to be nurturing.
You see?
And soft. But
it goes back to Mimi is women nowadays having, and I agree with you, don't think I'm just being like you're right now, right? No, it goes back to women, like, all right, you look in society nowadays and see men are wanting women to take care of them.
Yeah.
Right? So we have to identify that roles have been switched.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes back to even slavery days where they cower the men to fear and push the women to be strong. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's like because these roles have switched, that's why, as I said, like for me, it was kind of hard to come off independent, being by myself, doing it for myself, you know, getting everything that, you know, most people desire to accomplish in life by myself, to now getting a partner and sharing all that and have to cut back the masculinity, so to speak, to be able to function as a unit. It's hard. And there are some days that are better than some.
Even her saying it is hard.
But there are days where it creates conflict. But what I love about my marriage is that we talk about our conflicts and we don't shout out our conflicts and we don't get physical with our conflicts.
Right.
I really love that. But it's not everybody is able to do that. Mm-hmm. Not everybody has ever been in a relationship that it was a shout out your conflict. And that doesn't solve anything. So again, yes, in one hand, we need to be less masculine, but you cannot tell a woman to be less masculine with a man that is being feminine.
But in the first place, what are you doing with a man that is not masculine? Hello, somebody.
It goes back.
Why didn't you up front discern and know that that man is not paying his bills? Why didn't you discern and know that that man don't have no responsibility, that he ain't about nothing? You picking up too much baggage. Hello, Bradley's open, leave the baggage there.
Choices. It goes back to choices. And we keep on picking the same set of people that want to be nurtured instead of being a carer. for his family. So it's kind of hard. And then for a woman that has been dealt bad cards, or a man that has been dealt bad cards, it's hard to say, be this, be less independent.
The
And allow
role of a
somebody
man
to.
is to provide, pray, and protect. That is your role as a man when you enter into a relationship. Men out there that is listening, me, Camille, Onish, Ismail, Mystery say, the role that you play is to provide, to pray, first of all, to pray, to provide, and to protect your family. That is your job. When God created Adam, he gave Adam that position. Eve was there to assist the role. But we women, we have lost the power of assistance and we want to take over. And you cannot take over because what you're doing, you're bruising that man's ego.
Some of them like it.
Some men like it. Men, let me tell you something. Not Trinidadians will get on me, but I don't care. Trinidadian men are like that. They like when the women are in control. They like when the women have power. But when you talk about an African man, hello, don't try him. I was married to one. I could tell y'all, don't try it. A Jamaican man is not having it. You better calm yourself down and relax.
Some of them.
You understand?
Some of them.
We're talking about real men here from Jamaica. Real men. We're not talking about the booty. Yes. So the comments are coming in from the live. The comment said, a woman can do what a man does and still be a lady. A woman can do what a man does. First of all, let me tell you something. You see me name Pretty. Me name Dolly. I'm not changing no tire. I'm not changing no oil. And I don't want to lift any bags, bring inside, call groceries. I am Dolly Parton. Hello.
And you see, I'm the opposite. I don't mind changing a tire. I don't mind lifting a bag. I don't mind shoveling the snow. I am opposite because, again, this is what I have done all these years.
Yeah.
But
So
once he is around, I'm done. Once my husband is around, I'm finished.
You have a point.
I back up.
Yeah.
Hello. I back up. These are your roles. Hello.
You taking
Camille. Yes, that's right, Mimi. That's right. You carry that. The next comment says, which is the word of God. It says, he said, I'm going to provide you a helper. It didn't say that you were in charge. And this is where we women should set the boundaries from up front to say, I want to pay attention, observe the behavior, the pattern. And that's something we don't do, Latoya. We don't observe patterns and behaviors in a man.
Yeah, it goes back to what I say. A man can be sweet, but there are some things that they'll fail to do. And you have to kind of, when you pick up on something, you have to kind of, it goes back to cleaning, right? I remember dating this guy and like we'll go on a date, but then he'll just be kind of like, I don't like when you just in my face all over me. And then you'll see, like you'll go out and, somebody might say, you might see somebody that you know, and the person says hi. And who's that person? Who's this? Who's that?
Insecurities.
Like you try to pick up on those cues. So yes, he was nice. He could cook a good meal. He could take you to a fine dining restaurant. Y'all can laugh and have fun. But then what is the backstory to that? So that was something for me. I identified really quickly. And for me, I don't like when they move the fast moving thing. Don't move fast and don't talk to me too fast. Can't do it. Right? So you have to pick up these cues. And when you pick up these cues, if you're not comfortable with it, it's something for me, not to say you're going to watch it and create a problem or try to formulate something, out of it. but you kind of watch to see the pattern of things. If you're not comfortable, you're not comfortable. Say you're not comfortable and walk away. It's really that simple.
Awesome. I love this conversation, ladies and gentlemen. And that's a wrap. We went over a little bit of our time, but it's a juicy conversation. It's a healthy conversation that we all need to have. We'll be back next week live right here on the Empowerment Talk Show. Follow us on YouTube for all the shenanigans. Latoya, we welcome you back. And for those that are watching, do us a favor and subscribe to our YouTube channel, because pretty soon we'll be going live from there and y'all won't be able to see us on social media too much. So go ahead and subscribe, Empowerment Talk Show on YouTube. Yes. If you're an entrepreneur and you're in business and you would like us to share, to be a sponsor of our show, feel free to reach out to us at www.epbreakfastclub.com. So, girls, do you have anything to say before we go?
Is like in a relationship, say what you mean what you mean. You make promises, keep. And if you're not able to keep them, try to come up with some alternative to your promises. Don't just say, no, I don't like that, without giving an alternative, especially if you have told the person to do something and they're doing it and then you're not appreciative of it. You need to say why and come up with some alternative, but no, don't just shut it down.
Mm-hmm.
It is okay to look in the mirror and be self-reflective. If you've been going into and out of relationships and it's always been failing and you haven't had one that's been successful, it's time to do some inner work. Go pray and figure out what's going on and heal that part of you so that you can have a nice, successful relationship in the future. Love yourself and love God first.
Awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, have a wonderful night and stay tuned for Empowerment Talk Show coming to you right to your doorstep on your TV screen, Monday nights, 8 p.m. See ya.